Hello again. One of the things which I've noticed in the last few days is a number of black and minority ethnic women complaining that Britain's National Health Service is racist and doesn't understand them. In the description to this video, I give a link to a piece about a pop singer called Cat Burns, of whom I had not previously heard. She apparently got her big break performing on TikTok. Anyway, she's recently been diagnosed with autism and attention deficit disorder. Inevitably, she believes her road to diagnosis was harder because she's a woman and person of colour. Of course it was. One sign of autism is fidgeting, but she points out how a black woman fidgets will be different to a white man, saying, I guess being a black woman, there's certain experiences we have that people won't be able to pick up on. For a black girl, it could be taking out her braids and putting them back in, or something else to do with her culture that's overlooked. This is absurd. Psychiatrists are perfectly capable of spotting different kinds of fidgeting, whatever colour a person's skin happens to be. I might mention, by the way, that for years there's been the opposite complaint that young black people are too frequently diagnosed with attention deficit and hyperactivity. Now it seems it's not happening enough. Then too there's the recent fuss about the APGA score, which is used to assess newly born babies and see how well they're doing and if they need any extra medical help. So when a baby is born, they're given a score if they cry as soon as they come into the world, if they display certain reflexes, breathe normally, and so on. One of the checks is whether the baby is pink and healthy looking. Pink! What about black people? They aren't pink when they're healthy, are they? Clearly, this checklist is racist. Of course, the APGA score system was devised in 1952 when only white people were living in this country. Midwives are not half-witted though and have adapted to the changing nature of British society. Although there are mentions of what to do if the baby is pale, they do actually realise that a child of African heritage will not turn pale. Here is what Dr. Shabna Begum has to say. From the moment a child is born, the health care that black and minority ethnic babies are afforded is designed and delivered based on white European measures that are inadequate and inappropriate for their care. It has been known for decades that certain medical practices are not fit for purpose and directly discriminate against those with darker skin tones, and yet there has been no action to address this in any concerted way. Until we take seriously an anti-racist approach to health care, black and minority ethnic people are being actively harmed. You see, anti-racism even finds its way into the delivery room. Perhaps the best example of this kind of thing is another recent news item to which I give a link. The headline is, Doctors don't understand the menopause among ethnic minorities. They dismissed my symptoms, which is a quotation from a woman called Mira Bogle. What else does she have to say about the shortcomings of our National Health Service? Let me quote. When she was 45, Miss Bogle was forced to stop running, which she had loved, due to a lack of recovery, feeling exhausted and sweating. I would have to change the sheets and shower several times a night, and my skin changed too. Looking back, Miss Bogle had most symptoms of menopause for 10 years but wasn't aware. I didn't know anything about menopause. I believed it was something that happened when you were 70 years old. We learn that because she is from an Indian Hindu Punjabi heritage family, Miss Bogle believes the lack of awareness of menopause within the South Asian community is to blame for her confusion about her own bodily changes. So it's not really the fault of doctors at all, is it? Women living in Britain tend to know all about the menopause. There are newspaper articles, television programmes about it every day. What on earth has awareness within the South Asian community got to do with anything? She isn't living in South Asia, she's living in Britain. If somebody chooses to isolate themselves in this fashion among people ignorant of the basic facts of life, then that is hugely regrettable, but I don't see that it's really the fault of the National Health Service. It does rather strike me that if people wish to come and live in this country, then they might have to take things as they find them, instead of expecting the NHS to make all kinds of efforts to accommodate their particular wishes. I detect a distinct lack of gratitude for the medical services being provided here, and if anybody feels that they are not up to scratch, then I suppose they can shop around and see if any other country can better meet their needs. If one decided to live in a South Asian community, then it can hardly come as a surprise that there's going to be a bit of a problem when it comes to accessing a British health service. I think that the remedy is either to live in Britain and follow British ways, or to live in South Asia and follow South Asian ways. One or the other, but not both.